right. The Tank Commander. That's what they call you in these parts of town, huh?
Yeah, that was my nickname for the World Series.
So how many times do you plan on tanking during this interview?
Let me think about it. Yeah, right? Not too many.
That's what we're going to have a lot of, huh? Everybody.
How long do you want this to go? Yeah, right?
Yeah, right. We got days. We got,
all right.
Steve?
I'll take my time.
We have a cutoff? We got days, right?
Really, we're good to go.
This place closes at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, we can
Oh,
go
shit, I got all day. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Right?
We got like 8 hours. We got like 10 hours.
It's a marathon
we're good.
episode, by the way, if we didn't let you know that.
What?
This is going to go for a few hours.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
Forget
I
everything.
take my time,
all
so
the
I'm going to need
obligations.
it. I'm going to need all the seconds, minutes, hours we got. So
Kevin Maahs, everybody, here live on Boss to Boss podcast. Do you have, if people want to follow you or check you out, have you come up with any website yet, like the Tank Commander or anything.com?
I did create a Twitter after the World Series,
Yes.
but I'm not an avid like Twitter user or social media user. That's just how I am. I've gotten a lot of followers like on Facebook and Instagram, but again, like the Instagram, my friend made it for me as I was in Vegas.
Yes, we saw that.
So like one of my friends made it for me. So I wasn't even on Instagram until that moment. So even though I have social media presence, I usually am not on there all that much. I didn't create like any Tank Commander thing. I did troll the poker community a little bit with my Twitter. It's counted up because I was asking for chip counts every time that somebody would like be acting in the World Series. And be like, yeah, give me a chip count right now. And they, so I named myself Counted Up just to troll the people who kind of hated on me there.
So why, I mean, I'm sure you've been asked this question, maybe you haven't, but how many, have you gotten any death threats about it?
No, it's not that. No. Sometimes, it's kind of like a drama too.
Yeah.
They need to create a narrative behind it. So they need to pick a villain at times. And everybody hates the guy who's slow, who asks for chip counts, who appears to not know what he's doing. Everybody hates that guy. So like I was the easy target at that point to pick as a villain, which is fine. And I'm fine with that. It actually is somewhat motivating, which is in a twisted way for me. I don't know why it's so motivating to me, but in a twisted way, it was okay. And I was fine with that. Maybe they knew I was tough enough to take it. I don't know what it was, but it was a really weird, it was a weird thing where I think it was more of a narrative they're trying to build around the table. So like you get people who don't necessarily understand and watch poker all the time. So they get those people to kind of tune in and be like, oh, this is the villain. This is a good guy. We want the good guy to beat the villain and take him down. And that's the narrative they have to create. I'm fine with that. I'm just going to play my game.
So for everybody tuning in, listening, if you don't know Kevin Maahs, he was recently in the World Series of Poker all over ESPN. He finished 4th place, cashed out.
Actually 5th, but
5th place.
5th close. Yeah, I mean, right there.
You got 5th place.
5th place.
5th, 4th, it's all the same, right? As long as
if you didn't win, if you're not first, you're last, right? Yeah.
And you walked out with 2.2 million.
Correct.
Something like that most people, they could only fathom walking out with that much, let alone in a lifetime or one night. Not one night. You obviously put in work into it. You were there for about a week or so, right?
It was 9 days of playing.
9 days.
I was there for a week and a half. Yeah, okay. Because there was a 1 day break. So I guess I was there for 10 days, which is, I guess a week and a half, yes.
How has your life changed since then? Because obviously you were doing, backtrack. What were you doing the 9 days, 8-9 days before the playing?
Yeah,
what were you doing?
Actually, the Friday I flew into Vegas. So the main event started on Wednesday. It was around July 3rd, Wednesday, July 3rd or July 4th, one of those days. It started that day, but on July 6th is when I planned on playing, which was actually day 2 of the event. Because you could late register in the event.
Which was a whole controversy.
That's another
right?
controversy. Yeah, so that's another thing. But so yeah, I mean, on that Wednesday I was working, the Thursday, the Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was working all of those days at a company in Wooddale. So I was working, just thinking, like planning a strategy for what I'm going to do during this event, because I'm going out there on Saturday, or I'm going out there on Friday night after work. And I'm going to fly out there to Vegas on Saturday to play.
What were you doing at the company?
I was an IT consultant. So I wasn't full-time, but I was a contractor more so. It was okay. I mean, I actually enjoyed it more than some of my previous jobs. I liked the people there. It was a really good company, but all I could think about that last week, and
poker.
even those couple months leading up to it was that poker tournament, because that's the biggest poker tournament in the world, and that's the one I really wanted to play.
First time, right?
First time I played
ever.
that one. Yeah.
Okay. So then fast forward, you're here, you're sitting at a cubicle probably, right? Sitting at a desk.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, you're there, you're live on stage with the lights.
Right.
How drastically did life change?
From then until now, I mean, obviously financially, it's completely different. I'm no longer working at that company, and I'm not working right now. So I have some time at least. People always ask me, what have I bought with the money? And it's really, I guess I bought myself some time, some freedom, because I no longer have to sit in a cubicle and kind of hate my life anymore. I have a boss looking over my shoulder being like, you got these reports. If you've seen Office Space, it was basically the
typical.
It was basically that for 4 or 5 years of my life, and I was just like, oh man. So it's changed as far as I don't have to. Right now, I'm not doing that. I may go back to it one day, and it wasn't bad. The structure was okay, but it's changed as I'm not doing that anymore, which is awesome, which is exactly what I wanted. But as far as like me personally, like any character traits or anything I bought where I've become like, precocious or anything crazy. No, I haven't changed too much as far as that. But it has changed my life as far as I don't have to do something I hate to make money, which is awesome, incredible. I could play the game more. I could study the game more as well. I haven't gone pro or anything, but I could play and study the game more. And, I could do the things I love. Like I want to go back to school. I want to go back to grad school. So I'm studying for the GMAT. I want to go back to business grad school. So I have way more time to do that.
Because you went to Loyola, right? And you
did.
got a bachelor's?
I did, yeah. What was it? A BBA in finance and ISOM. So bachelor's business administration in finance and ISOM.
Okay. You don't hear that often. Someone, doing it, making it like big, and then here you are going back to school.
Right. And well, it's like
because you still got so much ahead of you, right? You're not just gonna cave in, and I'm done with life.
That's the nightmare more so. Like it's not like you get the money to be like, I'm done with life. It's over. I could retire off to an island. No, you don't do that for that reason. You do it because you love to do it. Number one, I mean, that's for sure. You gotta love the journey every day and doing and grinding it. And then if it were all about the money, it would be like that. It'd be like, oh, no, I no longer ever have to do anything anymore. No, you do it because you love it. Like I said, I mean, it's just.
And especially, there's the horror stories, and I'm sure people have brought this up to you of, let's just say it's like a sports player, because that's usually the ones where the horror stories happen to, where they make that big payday or whatever it is, get that bonus, and then here they are 10 years later.
Right.
Fatter than ever, by themselves.
Right.
Everything is gone.
Right.
Everything is gone. They gave it away, family, friends, and on other cool things, such as boats and.
Right. And usually I guess with sports players, like athletes in general, have a unique situation where, a lot of them have never come from money. Then they run into a big load of money and then don't know how to handle it. Some of them don't have degrees or don't specify with like money management or anything. So then they blow it really quickly. But that is not my plan at all. I mean, I hope to save it, have it for a long time, grow it, and then continue to build. Exactly. Yeah. Continue to build it, build up my wealth, continue to do things, continue to strive, go back to school. Mainly, to your last question, actually, I wanted to mainly go back to school because it's what I like. I like learning. Like knowing myself, I actually just love the challenge of learning, like something new, something different, something I didn't know yesterday. Like that's just the challenge I'd love to put myself through, even though it's torture sometimes and it's painful. It's another grind that I just love doing, like poker. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to ever, it's over, life's over. Right. No, or like I'm going to spend it all on boats and mansions because
you buy a couple and that's it. Like you're not going to get any other money that way.
Is it ever going to like fill you with complete joy to have like this sick ass Aston Martin and this huge mansion? I don't
temporarily
probably
maybe
not. Yeah, right.
How long will that last?
Right.
Aston Martin's going to get old.
Right. I mean, your car's going to depreciate in value and you're not going to get anything for it at the end of the day. But money is still something you obviously need. And I'm grateful to even have that much money and the chance to get that much money.
So it's almost freed you up from almost like you were living in a sort of not a happy place. It seems like, right? Because you couldn't just leave and go back to school and kind of think things through.
Right,
You
yeah.
had to earn, right? You had to keep a living going.
Right. I mean, I
You had
didn't.
to-
I didn't come up from money. I never really had that much money as a kid. You know, we were. I'm not saying my parents were like poor. We were lower middle class, whatever, middle class,
Which
middle-ish class.
nowadays that is like technically it's like us being middle class. Like I don't know anymore, but it is like being poor in America. I mean, it
But
essentially is.
You feel like it because like it's almost like you're stuck in a state of mediocrity, if you will. Because so it's like you're like, all right, I've always been
I am
somewhat
just enough.
Right,
Just
I've been
enough.
just enough. I've been somewhat comfortable my whole life. I've never really challenged. I've never been able to push it because I've never had the money to do this, that, and that. Or I've never had the freedom and the money to not work and do this and go for that, go for my dreams, go for my goals. But that's what it's done. That's what the money has offered me, created an opportunity for me to do. It's now I could kind of find what I actually want to drive into, what I want to do. Now I'm still going to play poker. I mean, it's a great hobby of mine, but that was just like the vehicle to get me to where I needed to be now, to where I have now the freedom and like the leeway to decide what I want to do now for the rest of my life, which is cool.
And why not professionally? Like you mentioned this, and we heard constantly. Everybody that was watching on ESPN would hear this. You know, you're not a professional.
Right.
Kevin Maahs, not a professional.
Right.
Why is that? And what's the difference? Like, do you magically just flip a switch and you become a pro?
In that field, yeah, anybody could be a pro. That's one of
Right.
the issues. Like you could not be making money and be a pro.
Right. Just quit everything you're doing and say, I play poker
Right.
for life.
Right. You could do that, but like, I mean, the game. Why I don't want to necessarily be a pro is just because of the swings, like the variance within the game. You could, again, like what happened this year with me. You could go up $2 million in 1 year. Then the next year you go down a couple $100,000. Like I can't necessarily handle those swings. Those swings are just, they would drive me crazy, pull my hair out. I'd rather pick my spots.
Got it.
I'll play that event again. It's a huge buy-in. It's a $10,000 buy-in, which is another story. Like that was stressful even going into that event. But I'll play that event again and I'll pick a couple more spots where I play a tournament here and there. But I'm not doing it professionally is just too nerve-wracking for me. And you need to like be in that lifestyle of where, all right, I know my money is going to rotate from year to year. And over the course of 5 years in the long run, I'm going to make $70,000 a year.
Yeah.
However, it's going to be very inconsistent. It's going to be 1 year I'm up $1 million. All right, you still have to temper your emotions when you're up that $1 million. You still got to be calm, cool, collected. And then the next year I'm going to be down 100,000. The year after that I'm going to be down 100,000. The year after that 400,000, whatever. So you still have 400,000 in those 4 years, and then the last year up 100,000. So that's whatever 100,000 a year we got. So in 5 years you made 100,000 a year, but you made it so inconsistently to where it's like you're in different tax brackets each year. It's all kind of screwy.
That's rough. Yeah.
I don't necessarily hate that, and I'm not complaining. No, I don't. It's not the inconsistency. I don't hate that.
You don't want to tell people you're complaining.
No. It's just it's hard to budget yourself when it's like that. It's swingy. Like controlling your own emotions during those time periods when you're actually down is tough. That's why I was just like,
But I'm sure you love the high, and that's why you're doing it too.
There's part of a high there. When I was younger, I used to get like more of the high. I don't really get that anymore. It's more of calculated thinking now. It's more of the competition I like at this point. Now it's like I see why people are bad, how they're bad, and then you kind of like pounce on the bad people in the game at least, and then you try to take their money. But you know, I mean, it comes, it goes, it swings around in that game a lot.
But
Over the
say
long
money
run-
wasn't involved.
Right.
You know, say money wasn't involved.
Right. If money wasn't involved, would I be a professional? It would be easier for me to make that decision to be a professional for sure. It would be. But again, like the tournaments I would have to play are almost like $10,000 buy-ins, $25,000 buy-ins. Those would be kind of a little bit nerve-wracking for me. If somebody were, so there are professionals who actually get staked by other people, and if money wasn't involved,
sponsorship, right?
right. There's sponsorships and stuff like that. Like if that were the case, I would certainly consider it. But there's still so much more I want to explore in my life first. Like, because going full time in that, you know, you're putting in basically like you're like the owner of your business, and every time basically, I mean, you're putting in 100 hours a week, whether it be studying, playing cash games, tournaments, whatever
it is.
Yeah, whatever it is. Like you're putting in 100 hours a week, which I'm
Doing
not
doing poker podcasts.
right. You're doing whatever you
videos.
can. Like you're in the game, you're in the world, which is fine. I mean, that sounds
So it's
great.
safe to say you're not addicted to poker.
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's again, like I said it in Vegas many times, like it's just a great hobby of mine, and I love the competition. It keeps me competitive. It keeps me like strategically minded, competitively going, and that's what drives me a lot of the time too. So if I could channel that maybe to something a little bit more towards the financial realm, which I mean, poker has a lot of financial concepts applied into it, and you apply them during the game throughout, but I would rather like maybe one day, that's my goal, is to start like a financial business, my own company, whatever that may be. So I would safe to say, I'm not addicted to poker. I do love playing poker though. I still love playing poker, and I'll probably always play poker.
But addiction,
but not a pro.
But the addiction is rampant in poker. Would you say like what's your thoughts on that? Like,
well, there's I mean, there's a different style of player where it's like they're actually addicted to the thrill and the gambling. But those are the
high, right?
Right. There's actually, and like, but those are the players, as a good player, you got to take advantage of, because they're gonna again take on way too much risk within this game because they're addicted to the thrill, they're addicted to the risk of the game. So you gotta have a level mindset throughout this whole tournament, throughout everything you play, to where like you can't be too addicted to the risk. Like it's a thin line. It's tough to do. And over years and years and years, eventually that line becomes so blurred you don't even know the difference. So that's another reason why I don't want to go pro. But like the people who are in it, some of them, are just degenerate gamblers and like crazy, and they'll take on way too much risk. But that's what you got to take advantage of as a player who's thinking rationally and not addicted to it, and somebody who's actually there trying to win this competition.
So you think a lot of those players are the ones that get weaved out, or?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Luck.
That's.
I mean, how much is luck? Do you feel a part of it?
Luck's a good part of it. I'd say if I really had to assign percentages, I'd say like it's 75% skill, 25% luck. Like it's just always going to be a part of it.
No matter what.
But that's kind of like, that's life. I mean, in general, I mean, like investing, for instance. I mean, again, it's the same swing.
The stock, right?
Right.
We're gonna invest.
The same thing happens to big like hedge fund managers. Like one year they'll be up 40% on their fund, another year down 13%. The best hedge fund managers over the long run make the highest return. So over the long run, the best poker players make the highest return. It's the same concept right there.
So coming, kind of backtrack, and you said, you came from, pretty average lifestyle beforehand.
Correct.
How in the world did you come up with the 10K, like, to be able to go into a tournament like that? Probably, giving up a good chunk of your money that you probably made in a given year. Like, how did it feel? And the pressure to be there,
the night before I entered the event, like when we flew into Vegas, there was actually an earthquake in Vegas that night. We got there after the earthquake.
So you almost didn't make it in time, or?
No. Like it was, I had 2 more days to buy in, but they were both day twos. But we made it there on time. But like, the night before, I was basically like just rolling around in my bed, just like, Jesus, do I still want to do this? Do I not want to do this? Like, it's like, this is a lot of money. I told all my friends, I'm coming here to play this damn thing. And I analyzed it from a situation where like, this is the best I'm ever going to play this game because I played it so much in my life. And leading up to the event, it's the most I've played in a long time. I've probably put like 1,000 hours in within the last year, which is a lot more than 10,000 throughout my lifetime. So yeah, I mean, I was rolling around in my bed. I'm like, damn, that's like that's a pretty nice car down payment or a house down payment, half of a house down payment maybe. So I'm rolling around. I'm like, man, but then I thought about it. I'm like, again, this is the best I'm ever going to be at this game. And I thought about like, this is the one thing that I wanted to do with my money. Like, even if I lose it, I think it's a good investment for me to play this event. So I took the risk, and I'm like, this was the one thing. If I could think of anything else, anything else to spend the money on, I was like,
that was it.
This is the event. I want to play this event.
You felt you had the most skill, I guess, with this, or the most to give?
I felt like
to make that 10K into, obviously it's an investment, right?
So. Exactly. It's an investment. And I felt like where I was at with my game, I could potentially make a lot of money. And, it ended up working out to where I made a lot of money. And I know you're going to be like, everybody who goes there thinks that, sure, true.
I mean, did you prepare for the worst, or did you constantly think?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you got to prepare for the worst. You're like, all right, if I lose it, I'm pretty much in the same position. I'm not crazy bad off.
10K.
No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not trying to be like pretentious or anything. I'm saying that like even if I lost it, it was like, okay. I mean, I get back to work because I did have a job at that time. So I mean, I get back to work. It's some months off my work, but I prepared for it. But I was also prepared to pick that spot and take that risk because again, it was a spot where you can make a lot of money. It's the one tournament in the world where you can make millions of dollars, and that's not even exaggeration anymore in at least my case. So yeah, it's that one tournament. If you're going to play one, you're going to pick a spot. That's the one to go play. And it was like, it's completely different when you get there from what you're thinking to. You're thinking like everybody's just.
How so?
You're thinking like.
Most people have not, a lot of people have not been, or it's not.
Right.
I mean, the people in attendance there's not usually a crazy amount, right? I mean, it's decent.
No, there were a lot this year. I mean, 8,600 about.
Oh, okay.
8,600.
They don't show it all because then at the end it's like just the tiny little groups.
See, there's so many like ironies,
misconceptions, right?
Yeah, there's so many misconceptions, but like ironies in general about the game. Like when they put the game on TV, when it's like down to 30 people and 10 people, when they actually put it on TV, when it's like down to the last couple tables, like that's almost when the game, I don't want to say is like the least skilled, but it's so big as far as like money jumps in the tournament. It's not as skilled as when at the beginning of the tournament. So that's one irony. Like when they actually put it on TV and when it's like at its highest pressure, the game is actually less bearable to watch because like it's not as skilled as it was in day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. Oh yeah, no, it's crazy because you need to actually take some good but calculated risks, and there are way more interesting spots in the previous days, in the days leading up to that final table than there are at the final table.
So you had a lot more crazy moments and luck involved?
Well, I'm not saying there's obviously throughout the run and the course of the tournament, there's luck involved. I mean, but there were more interesting spots because if you saw me on TV, it was like, oh, he's just getting dealt aces a lot. Like, yeah, all right, that's part of the game. Like I hit the top of my range and I'm getting dealt that. But like there were crazier spots where I would be like, where you're priced in some action where you're like, where you know your hand is about 40%, where your range is ahead of somebody else's, where it's about 40%. You jam all your chips in, getting a price of like 2 or 3 to 1 on your money. And this is a great calculated risk. And that's a great TV hand too, because people would be like, oh, wow, that's a great spot. But that's usually not on TV because what you're seeing on TV is like the difference when you outlast somebody. It's called, I think the main model is ICM, independent chip model, because your chips in money value are worth more by outlasting somebody at that stage. Because like if you outlast one person, you're making $400,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you play almost tighter, more by the book poker and less interesting poker when you're at that stage, just because how much money is on the line and the pay jumps on the line.
You're hoping other people knock each other out in the meantime. You start tanking.
That's part of it. Yeah, for sure. But like that's one of the ironies of
because you probably didn't do it in the beginning, right?
No, not too much. Sometimes I did. It depends on like that was I could explain that, but like there are multiple.
Oh, I mean, we're dying to hear.
Multifaceted.
I mean,
well, here the other irony to the game though. The other great irony is like this is the world championship of the game, but it's also like I've never experienced it before. It was the first time I went there. It's also like one of the softest fields. Like it's one of some of the worst players you'll see in tournament poker go to play it. Just because it's the most advertised, it's the biggest event in the world. People go see it.
Because they hope that dream is so close, right?
The same idea I just said, maybe I'm the fish too. Who knows? The same idea I just said was if you're going to pick a spot, this is the spot. Everybody thinks that way too. So you're going to get the softest field in the world. And that's a huge irony in the game too. Like you're thinking world championship. You're thinking these are obviously all the best players in the world. Not necessarily true. You get 30% of the field that say like fish, just awful. They're never going to win this tournament. They just can't. They don't understand the basics. They take on way too much risk. They're just not going to win it. You get maybe 20%. Maybe I fall in this 20% that are good. But like, they're going to need a lot of luck along the way. Maybe we'll say that's 40%. 40% they're good, but they're going to need a lot of luck along the way. And then you get maybe 20% the top of
the rest.
Right. Then 30%, whatever it is, that the top in the world where like they're more likely to make it there. They might never make it there though. But they're a really good investment.
Because there are certain people that usually year in and year out, they'll finish in the upper echelon, right?
Correct. Yeah. No, that's the skill in the game. Like It's crazy though. Like those are like the ironies of the game. Like again, you get like one of the softest fields in the biggest event that's supposed to be the best people in the world, and then you get for TV almost the worst playing that you'll ever watch. So it's funny. It's funny that way. But
I mean, thinking about it, what other world championship can you go there and just bring money and play in it?
Right. Yeah. There's not too many. Probably.
I can't really think of anything.
I would
I'm
actually.
sure there's something, but
Like that's not actually even a bad model though. Like it would almost be like the market would play itself out. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you want to go play like, all right, the Masters is a little bit of a stretch, but you want to go play the Masters and you suck, go ahead.
Yeah.
And then you get
in
killed
for $50K.
Right. Pay us $50,000. Yeah, right. I'd say more events should actually institute that.
This
see how good you are.
Whoever's listening, I mean, this could be like a killer business model going forward. Right? Here's the basketball.
Make a lot of money, right? Yeah.
Buy in for $50K each, and the winner will be the new NBA.
Right. And I know like there's a lot of preliminary things they have to go through to get there and all that. But like it wouldn't be a horrible idea to like take some of these world championships, maybe like darts, bowling, whatever. Come to the event, pay this money, see how good you are. Let's see what you got. I wouldn't mind that model. But yeah, this is
at the end of the day,
only thing I could think of that does that.
At the end of the day, it kind of comes back that it's like an investment type of thing, right?
It is.
It's investment, 100%. Or it's gambling, or it's like something in between.
Well, you gotta look at it as an investment throughout. Like it's just what it is. It is like there's gambling.
It's what you make
parts
of it. I guess,
right?
Right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but there's gambling parts because again, there are people who just see it as purely gambling. But you got to take advantage of those people throughout the course of the tournament. So
it's a good way to look at it.
And in the long run, the best players are going to make the money.
They're going to last no matter what.
They're going to make the money. Yes.
So tell us, why didn't you take any sponsorships? I mean, you could have made a few extra K easily, right? They were offering. Yeah, they offered me. Everybody got offered. Like a lot of people got offered.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody at the table at the final had something besides you and one other guy.
Yeah, I think it was me and Livingston.
I think so.
Alex Livingston, Canadian guy.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they offered me $30,000 to wear like the patch, the 888 poker patch. But I'm just like,
had on.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah. I mean, we've already made a lot of money. I just kind of like
Was it about pride at that point? Like not, or were you just trying to rub it in their face?
Well, no, not really. It's just not me. Like I feel maybe it was a little bit of pride. Like I feel more like a sellout.
Had to be some
there is like a sellout aspect to like doing that.
You're like, I'm gonna last this whole tournament without a single help, right?
At this point, I mean, we're guaranteed $1 million.
I mean, you already like
we're guaranteed $1 million. This is gonna be $30,000. Okay.
What does that matter right now?
Like, no, it's not. I don't want to sound like that, but like, it's like, you know, I was the guy who did it without the patch. Yeah. I didn't need the patch. I didn't sell out for $30,000. So it is a little bit of.
I mean, it was part of your story too. You had Norman Chad going after you. You had Twitter just full out after you. Right. Why not just tell the sponsors I don't want to party?
Yeah, screw it. Right? Yeah, no, I don't need you either. So if the whole world's gonna whatever. Yeah, no, but. It's really actually been all good since then. So
and did you thrive on that? Like, I mean, some people use that and they like built that up and kind of, thrive off things like that. So there's been talk, they mentioned it even on TV and somewhere online. Is this something that you kind of did on purpose, you would say? Go slow tanking.
Just the tanking.
Your time. And, you were clearly one of the most talked about.
So like I said, like you want to find like the people who are bad. Like there's sometimes the bad degenerate players. There's sometimes the bad players are really too tight. So you're trying to, during the course of that tournament, you're trying to isolate these bad players and take their chips and split a lot of their chips. Find spots where you can play against them because it's positive value to play against them as far as chips go. At that stage in the tournament, like the final table again, like you're talking about players who are pretty good. Like you're not going to find too many fish at that point. Like they've all survived these 8 days, 9 days for some of them, for whatever it was. They've all survived that long. So you got to do whatever you can. Like that's like not even kidding. You got to do whatever you can to get an advantage. And a lot of the times, like to empathize with somebody at the table who takes a long time. Like when I've played against somebody who takes a long time, it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Like I hate it.
Yeah.
So it's the same. But I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But like the thing is, why not use that to your advantage? If you know everybody hates it, try to piss them off too. Like pull them off their game any way you can. That's one of the reasons I did it. Pull them off their game any way you can. If it pisses them off, more power to you. Whatever. Pull them off their game. Maybe they make a bad play. maybe you take advantage of that bad play, then you're then printing money, if you will. You're making some chips. You're making
you're hoping they get rattled and they make a dumb choice.
Right. And I actually did see that. There was a hand where a gentleman actually 3-bet me way too much, and it was actually like I'm like laughing there, just sipping my Red Bull, and I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty fish play right there.
How many Red Bulls did you drink?
Throughout the week.
Yeah, like there had to be there. I'm surprised there wasn't an over under because you were either chugging a coffee or a Red Bull or another coffee.
At that point,
I don't know how you were going.
At that point, we were up I was basically up like 7 or 8 days straight. Like
you barely slept?
Barely, like maybe 6 hours all week. 6 hours all week.
Way.
So yeah, I swear to God. Yeah.
Was it the rush? Was it
it's just like you gotta I don't know. You just can't sleep in that moment. It's just like, man, this is a really big spot. Like this is a big opportunity to make a lot of money. Like I gotta be focused. I gotta be ready for this. And like you're laying there in bed and you're like, oh, wow, I really gotta get sleep for this moment. It's just like your stomach doesn't turn off. You know what I mean? It's like, screw it. I'm gonna just grab a Red Bull, think about it, study a little, and let's go. Like, so during the course of the week, I probably drank like 40 Red Bulls. At the final table, though, more at the final. Wow. I mean, more majority of the 40 was at the final table is what I mean. Probably like 12 at the final table.
Which alone. Final table was 3 days, right?
Yeah, it was 3 days. I was only in it 2 days though. But yeah, so
in between those 2 days, you had 60 days?
Probably, yeah.
Wow. Well, talk about a sponsor that maybe you actually should get.
I tried, but yeah.
You reached out to somebody, right?
Yeah, one of my friends. I asked one of my friends if they could just try to see if they could get Red Bull because it would have been a pretty cool sponsor because I think they should get into that marketplace. But
it makes total sense, right? I mean, right up their alley.
That's all. A lot of like poker players, that's all they drink. Oh, me, I drank 40 of them during the course of that tournament. Like if I'm paying for that, it's almost like $200.
Steve, we got to take that clip and like send that to Kevin. Let him take that and give it to Red Bull because that's going to be his in to get Red Bull for life. I mean, I swear, get this guy some damn Red Bull.
This is your big break.
Dude, let's get him some damn Red Bull.
Cheers.
Seriously, where's the waitress around here? We got to get some Red Bull.
I know they have them.
They do have them. You got one.
But then
seriously.
Yeah. Oh, there
we should have been a little more prepared. We should have like 3 Red Bulls waiting for
I would have been
like
chugged one down real fast.
And we would have seen progressively how the interview would have went as you chugged more and more.
Oh man, I would have started like talking so fast you can't even understand me. I would have been like,
but you kept it cool over there.
Yeah, no, like that was one of the things that surprised me. Like I've never been in a spot like that before.
You didn't like react until you like at the very end when you had that one moment, which you know which moment I'm talking about, the one that was like controversial when you were celebrating or you weren't.
Oh yeah. When they
started singing.
Well, that was just cool, man. Like basically it's like a 50%er, like it's coin flip in the game. So it's like it could go, one outcome could be he wins is all my chips. One outcome is I win all his chips. So it's like 50% straight up each way. And to win that flip with all your friends there on live TV, on ESPN I think the pay jump was $350,000. It's just like, I usually don't celebrate. I'm usually just like, all right, well, that's cool. That moment, I just had to be like, screw it. I'm going to fucking do a fist pump on ESPN because I'm just pumped. Like I had not, like, it was almost like a natural reaction. It was cool.
Did you partake in the song singing?
I don't even know what I was doing at that point, to be quite honest with you. I think I was like watching myself on TV with it. Like I was like shaking my head. I don't know. It wasn't anything against
it's in the moment, right?
But yeah, I'm just like, yeah. I hear this song in the background and I'm just going to bob my head. Yeah, right.
Because I know there was a lot of smack talk going on between the parties.
Yeah, especially between like Israel, Zhen Kai was the guy who came in 6th and was knocked out in that hand. And then Miro were just like going at it.
Oh yeah,
right before that hand,
forth and everything.
Yeah, right before that hand, he's like, "If Maahs wins this, I'm quitting poker forever." And I look at the deal, I'm just like, "I guess I gotta make him quit poker forever." Right on that hand, it was like so weird. And then I just get the 9s, knock him out, and I'm just like going nuts. I'm like, "All right, let's go."
How did it feel reading through Twitter after that part? Because I'm sure
my friends told me not to even look at Twitter.
Yeah,
like my brother's like, "You're trending on Twitter like number 9 or 10," which was cool. Like Maahs is on Twitter. But probably for the wrong reasons. There's like, we all
you never read anything about that?
I eventually went back like a week ago. I read a couple
just
of them.
Recently?
But it's just like, none of it's really productive. It's just like, oh, I hate this fucking guy. He's stupid and he's an idiot. It's like, okay, all right, good for you. Thank you. Like, if it were productive, if it's
you looked at it from a subjective a very objective, I guess, right, perspective when you looked at it. You were very open-minded.
Well, right. If I saw something there that was potentially like constructive, I would have been like, okay, maybe the way I played that hand was a little bit passive or whatever. But it was more like, fuck this guy. He's really taking up our time on TV. And I was just like,
he's ruining poker.
Whatever.
This is why
I'm going to keep ruining poker because of that guy. Yeah, it's like, that's the stuff.
I will never watch
like,
poker again.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whatever to that. But if it were constructive, I'd definitely hear it. Like, you got to listen to constructive criticism.
Because I mean, there's some people that do go back and read all these things. Some people don't. But did it affect you at all?
No, I mean, I don't really care about being like, crazy loved
villain,
or anything, or being the villain or anything. Again, it's a narrative they try to build.
Do you think ESPN itself or just the media pushed it all a little bit more than it really was?
Yeah, I mean,
like watching an episode of Jersey Shore.
It builds momentum, if you will, because like ESPN gets outraged by it or says they're outraged by it to build a story, and then all of a sudden the players at the table are like, yeah, he shouldn't be doing it. So then the momentum keeps going. Now, the players at the table didn't even notice it. They didn't even care at that point. But then they watch the replay and the footage and they're like, yeah, maybe we should get mad at it. So that second day, they were a lot more angry. They were like ignoring me more. So I'm like, whatever, here we go. And then ESPN's still riding me. So it builds momentum with everyone. So really, the players at the table didn't see it as a problem until ESPN saw it as a problem.
And then you had
building a narrative.
Other professionals chime in on Twitter.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So tell me, what's the craziest like message you read that probably we didn't see online? Someone like personally message you or anything? Or tell you anything in person?
I think that, like, this isn't really. I guess this is kind of crazy. You know, the Daniel Negreanu, the famous best poker player in the world, biggest name. Like after I got knocked out and I was in the payout line, he actually asked me, he's like, "Hey, what's this I hear about you tanking?" And I'm just like, I'm like standing there trying to save face, like, oh my, this guy's like the best player in the world, right? I'm like sleep deprived 10 days straight, basically drinking Red Bulls, and I'm just like there with my dad, and he's just like, "What's this I hear about you taking?" And I'm just like, and then I like made up some reason, and he's just like, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense," and I was just like, "Oh, wow, you thought that made a lot of sense? That's pretty cool." And so that was the craziest story where somebody told me, like, asked me at least about the tanking, and
just because it's him, and it's
right, he seemed like a really cool guy. Yeah,
but that was it. It was just come and go.
I mean, a lot of the people who really hated me didn't address me personally. It was more like, this Maahs guy needs to go, F him, clown, blah 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 blah. You got to just block that out sometimes.
You said Norman Chad. You mentioned before.
Oh, Norman Chad. Yeah.
Our favorite broadcaster.
Right. Yeah. He said
said a couple things too.
He just asked me why I was doing it. I think it was during day 7 of the event. So this was before the final table. Day 7 of the event. I was just like so sleep deprived. I started almost hallucinating at this point. We've been playing poker for 200 straight hours, 100 straight hours. It was just like, oh man, I'm really tired. So it was like a 14-hour day, and we're on like the 12th hour of the day. So I'm just really tired. Like, I'm winning hands, and I'm just like, and then Norman Chad makes a comment on TV saying like, "Well, I wouldn't invite Kevin Maahs to my New Year's Eve party," and I'm just like,
I remember that.
And I heard about that. And then when I did eventually make the final table the first day, I go to Norman Chad and I'm just like, "Hey, Norman, you're invited to my New Year's Eve party." And he started laughing. And we had a good time. I mean, he's like, "What's the deal with you tanking?" And I told him a couple reasons. He's like, "Yeah, no, I understand that." So, I mean, he was actually a good guy. But again, you got to pick somebody to pick on, make fun of.
So he was actually pretty cool. So he wasn't too pissed about it.
No, like.
Because on TV, he's made his stance very well known.
He might have been like pissed about it, but he did understand why I was doing it, if that makes sense. Like you could not agree with somebody and be angry at somebody, but if you at least understand why they're doing it, it's kind of like, all right, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand where you're coming from. So it was one of those things.
Would you say it's one thing you didn't mention and I forgot to ask? Would you say it's also, were you trying to just enjoy the moment a little more? Like, is that possible?
There's some of that.
I mean, because you're there, and when you're the one causing it, they're naturally going to talk about you. And
well, aside from like trying to get every edge you can, you also like I was talking to Bernard Lee, like I was saying earlier on his podcast. Like, you also try to. It's also a matter of like priming people at times to think about like, so when you make an action light in poker, it's like doing it without a hand or without having a really good hand. By taking your time, sometimes it makes it look like you have an actual decision and you are priming them to think you're folding a bigger hand than you actually are if they're playing a lighter hand. So there's some of that too, where you're priming them to think that you're making big laydowns when really you have like Jack-7 or whatever. There's some of that in there. So there's some of priming. There's some of just like taking every edge you can. I mean, TV time. You're on TV playing poker.
You know,
you're on TV
be
playing
honest.
poker. It wasn't for that reason, but
It was a nice perk.
it's a nice perk, yeah, to be there. Like I said during the event, I usually don't play at tables for millions of dollars and where I'm showing my whole cards. So like people actually don't see my whole cards and I'm taking that long. Like you don't know what I have. So like they see me taking that long, they're like, oh man, probably has a hand over there. So it's a psychological battle at that table as well. So there's a little bit of psychology behind it, whether it be wrong or right too. Like I may be like, I know I made it there and all that, but people who end up watching this ultimately might be like, that's completely wrong, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it might be. I'm not gonna lie. It might be wrong. It might be.
I mean,
right.
is there an official rule book though to poker?
No,
what
there's
you
no
can and
rule
can't
against
do?
that. No, there's no rule against that. Just it's what bothers people. So it's like the basketball player who gets under your skin, right? Yeah. So like, how do you do that at the poker table?
The
You
guy
do
that's
it-
gonna block you before anybody's even there.
Right, yeah, the guy who throws the elbows. Yeah, I was actually that guy in basketball, though, to be honest with
So
you.
there's a theme here, ladies and gentlemen. There's a theme.
You need to get under your opponent's skin sometimes. Yeah, that's for sure it, because you got to take them off your game. However you could do that, however you could get an edge, you need to do that. Like that's one of my firm beliefs. Like you're in a competition right now. You are playing for a lot of money. You're playing for a world title, I guess, is more important. Forget the money. You're playing for a world championship. Do whatever you can to win that thing.
Survival
like whatever
of the
it is.
fittest, right?
Right. Do whatever you can. Like
whatever.
it's you got to be your motto every day too. Like do whatever you can to get yourself better, get yourself ready, get yourself going. Let's go.
So I'm hearing a rumor. Is this true? Are they incorporating the Maahs rule next year on ESPN? Where
no, I
you're
don't-
going to be limited?
I don't think so. Like in all the big high rollers, they have already like a shot clock, but I don't think they're going to do it at the World Series just because I wasn't taking long enough to where the shot clock would actually matter. I was just taking.
What is it at normally?
It'll be like 30 seconds. It'd be like 30 seconds, but I was taking about 30 seconds.
Well, you know what? On TV, they probably made it look like it was 30 seconds or more.
Well,
I mean, they made it seem like it went on and on and on.
They ran the clock on me eventually, and they said it was like slightly under 30 seconds. So the clock wouldn't do anything. Like it would be like they were timing it. It'd be like the clock sometimes incentivizes people to use the whole clock, if that makes sense. So it actually makes the game longer in some debates and some arguments.
But don't they even call the clock? It's not until a player calls it on you too? Or is
Well,
it
it
there?
depends. You could
They never show it.
You could institute it, or you could, somebody could call the clock on you. I mean, as long as you've been given reasonable time to act, they could call the clock on you after like a minute, and then you have 30 seconds to act. So the rules by which
It's
they're played now.
that is like it's not like it's that much time anyway.
No, but I wasn't taking that long. Like
Yeah.
it was 30
It
seconds.
seemed a lot longer. Now that it's kind of weird.
But that's why
It seemed a lot longer.
you got to create a narrative though. You got to build a villain and you got to do that. And how do you do that? I mean, even when I'm trying to get under your skin, you can build me as a villain. Like that's just how it is. Like I don't really mind that.
It's an easy way. They had to find. I mean,
Right.
is it safe to say? Because I mean, poker. I don't know where the numbers are at, but I feel like it kind of has been plateauing over the years.
Yeah, I mean,
what it
I would
sounds.
say like it hit its peak in probably the mid 2000s.
Yes, that was
2004,
when
2005,
when
like-
Moneymaker, Negrano,
Everybody played,
Like
yeah.
it was the most talked about. That's when World Series was just like when it was on, everybody was watching.
Yeah, no,
So
that
you
was the
think
time
maybe-
where
maybe-
nobody understood the game, nobody understood the math behind the game. There weren't many good players, so like the good players would always rise to the top.
Always.
So it'd be like every
Same people
tournament,
every year.
yeah, exactly. Every tournament would be like the same 10 people, and they'd be like, "Wow, this game's crazy." But now that everybody has gotten a lot better, and then like it just hasn't built the same. It doesn't have that boom anymore. It's kind of plateaued, but I would say in the past couple of years, it's probably risen again. Because like the main event went from, I think maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, from 6,000 entrants to now 8,569 this year. So like this was the second largest field ever in the main event. So the other one was 2007, Jamie Gold's tournament. If he won like 12 million total. So like his tournament was the biggest ever. This was the second biggest ever. So it might be rising again. And it might be partly due to like, it might be partly due to the main event and the narratives they're building around it. There's a villain, there's a hero.
Gotta do something. Right?
Yeah, right.
So it's safe to say you
it
could be playing a part in poker making its way back.
Maybe. Yeah, no, I think it was one of the better final tables in the last couple of years. So, yeah. No, it's safe to say that for sure.
And now that you're back home and things are going kind of back to life. What's some of the bigger changes you've seen, especially let's just say people that maybe didn't know you in the past or didn't reach out. And now all of a sudden, hey, I'm your best friend. Right. I'm gonna send you $1 million, whatever it is. I'm gonna connect here, invite you here.
Right.
How do you feel about that, and how have you reacted to those people?
As far as like personal friends and personal people I've known in the past, it's all been good. It's all been really good. Like everybody's wished me well. Everybody said they were rooting for me. Like a couple of my family members told me it actually like brought them closer together, just because like they were fighting for years. But it's like, hey, somebody we know is on TV and we could root for them together, and like whatever, everybody's against him, but we could
brought some of your family.
No, really, it did, and it like it actually made like personal relationships and people I knew in the past. It made me happy to see that people were actually enjoying it and happy for me. So that was good.
That's awesome.
In the poker room, though, it's interesting. I'm like, I can't go to a poker room and like play without everybody knowing me and seeing that I was the kid on the final table and getting made fun of, asked for money, whatever.
Have you been at one yet since?
Yeah, I played 2 or 3 tournaments because the World Series came to Hammond. That was another like smaller event. It was not like a $10,000 buy-in or anything. It's like $1,000 buy-in.
You partook?
I did not do that well, but that's the variance in the game.
Was it fun? Were they talking to you a lot?
Yeah. I'd get the tank comment every now and then, but everybody would laugh. Everybody would have a good time. But yeah, in the poker world, I'm well known, which is actually another like great irony in poker. It's like the better you become, the harder it is for you to find spots to make money. Because now people don't want to play bad people don't want to play against you, which is awful for your bankroll. You're not going to make a lot of money if bad players don't want to play against you. And good players want to attack you. When good players attack you, it's really tough. Now you're not going to make a lot of money. So it's like a great irony. The better you become in the game, the harder it is to find spots to make money. So maybe I take a little bit of a break. I lose some of the notoriety I got from the main event. Right. And then I go back to it. Hopefully next year,
come back, grow a big beard.
Right. Nobody knows who the hell I am, because that's everybody think like I guess another great irony. Like everybody thinking you suck for you in that game is completely beneficial to you in that game. You want people to think you suck, and you want bad players to play with you.
You're running with it. You're hoping that people still think.
Oh yeah, whoever thinks I suck, let them think I suck. Let's play next year at the main event. Let's do it next year. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like little ironic things I find in the game now that I see how people play against me. It's funny. I find it, but it's been all good. Everything has been like really like energizing, good. I've had nothing bad. Nobody said like, "Hey, can I borrow $10,000?" No, nobody has done that to me, and it's been pretty cool.
So that's the poker community, and what about personal? You said
no, personal. That's what I mean. Personal. Nobody has done that. Everybody's been like,
nobody's been like begging you for money.
No. Everybody's been like, man,
coming out of the closet. People that have never talked to you in years.
All my friends, like all my good friends, were down there in Vegas with me too. Like that was awesome to see. Like just to have that support. They created the posters for me, the Tank Commander, all that. So like, yeah, man. I mean, it's been all good. Except for like the notoriety in the poker room, where it's harder to find a game that I have an edge at. So, but give it some time. I'll eventually get back there. Grow a long beard. We'll see. Maybe they don't notice me.
Did all your closest friends just come out just like that, or did you have to bribe them?
No, they came out just like that. Like it was really cool. Like I even said like, you guys don't have to come. It's on a Monday, and they're just
I mean,
they all flew in on that Sunday
week and everything.
Yeah, they all just took off and said, "Screw it, we're coming." I had to take another week off, so like it was badass. Like,
How was the reaction at work when they're like, "Damn, this guy all of a sudden doesn't show up for a whole week"?
Well, my boss was like sick for the whole week, and like on I think it was Saturday when I made the final table. I'm like, I texted him like, "Hey, I need another couple of days off because I made the final table," and he's just like, I saw, man. Congratulations. I've been sick all week.
So he's been watching? Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
he saw me on TV, and I was just like, because I gave him like a shout out on ESPN. I told the company it was AAR in Wooddale, so I gave him all a shout out, and no, he was like, that's what I mean. Like, I actually enjoyed that job, even though the desk isn't my favorite place to be. I actually enjoyed that job just because the people were so great. My boss was awesome. The people I worked with were awesome. So my boss was completely understanding. He was excited for me. He's like, when I got back today, I did get back 2 weeks later. After I took another week off, he gave me the rest of the week off after that too.
Hey.
He like,
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, moving on from the actual, tournament and actually winning, how has that affected your life afterwards, the aftermath, getting back to, kind of reality
Right.
after all that? How has that looked?
right. Like I said, I mean, like financially, it's completely different. It's like, I don't have to do, again, like I mean, some people really like the office. They like the structure. They like the way of life that the office provides. I really didn't. I mean, I really just absolutely hated it. So it was able, again, it goes back to like when people ask me what have I bought. I mean, I bought my freedom away from that lifestyle of doing something I didn't like doing. So that has been the biggest change in my life. The best part of my life is that I don't have to do something I no longer like doing, and I can find what I like doing now.
So what do you think that next step, now that you have that money and you have that freedom,
Right.
What's that next step? Your dreams.
My dream is actually still to go back to school. I'm studying for the GMAT still, so that's still been one of my major dreams. So now I could dedicate a lot of time to studying for the GMAT and actually trying to get back into graduate school. Poker's still a great hobby. It takes me out of like some of the. It's that thing that takes me out of the world sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
takes
what
you out of that
podcasting
grind.
does for me.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It's a nice break.
Right. You find what takes you out of some of the shit sometimes,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Poker does that for me. So that's why I'm still going to continue to play poker for sure. I volunteer still on Wednesdays. I tutor, which is actually tonight. And I'm gonna pick my spots like I did here with the main event. I'm gonna find my spots, pick my spots. Other people, I guess, call it opportunities. I'm gonna wait for I'm gonna go find the opportunities, wait for them to arise. I'm not gonna force anything. If I do find a job and end up going back to the office that I really like, maybe with some of my friends or something, with people I actually know, maybe that is a path I end up ultimately taking. Because the structure is nice at times. It's not the best in the world. I didn't like, but if I were working with some of my friends, it might be different. I don't know. If everybody was my friend there, it might be different.
Do you think there's motivation? Do you think you're less motivated now that you feel like you're maybe a little comfortable, or has that played a part at all?
There is a little bit of that. I mean, it was like a fire under my ass when I had no money, right? And it's like, Jesus, and I really got to do something. It's like do or die now. It's like you're on the street, you're dead, you're living on your own, You're done. But now that you have a lot of money, there is a little bit of a pullback. It's like, okay, I reached that goal, but knowing myself, I'm never gonna. I hate to say this, but I'm never going to necessarily be satisfied. So like, there's still fire under my ass. It's not as like fueled as burning, but I mean, it will eventually be because I'm going to eventually want to do something else and achieve another goal. It's not like going to school. Yeah, it's not like
you're 70 years old over here. And you're like, you got no more future ahead of you.
Right.
You still got to do something.
Right. Money isn't the end all be all to everything. I mean, money is great. Money is awesome. It's a tool though. It is a tool that gets you to a place, to another goal, if you will. So save, invest, and do what you can with that money. So make it work for you.
Well, now on to our listeners' favorite segment of the show.
Welcome to the round with no name, because they're all taken.
What we got?
This one's going to stump you. You weren't expecting this part. But pretty much you're going to have 5 seconds to initiate an answer for every question. I'm just going to throw a couple quick curveballs at you.
Can I tank?
No. If you tank, Steve Wiley, our producer, is actually here today. He is actually here, and you better watch out. This guy.
You gotta give me like 30 seconds.
He doesn't tank. He doesn't take tanking nicely.
I'll treat you like Vegas.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Fine.
Like,
I'll try my best to answer fast.
Yeah, we're talking like old school Vegas. Like he doesn't mess around.
Take me out back.
You see that backpack over there?
Yeah.
There's a ball pin.
Stomp on my hand.
There used to be,
geez.
yes, we used to have another guy That worked for us. He's gone.
Took him out back, broke his. Yeah,
The
okay.
rest
We don't
of
talk
them
about him
back
anymore.
We don't talk about it. But here we go. What is your favorite book?
Thinking Fast and Slow.
Favorite movie?
Happy Gilmore. That one's on the spot.
Surprised
I
it
don't know
wasn't
about
like
that
a poker one. Favorite podcast?
one. I would say the Bernard Lee Poker Show.
Yeah. We're going to continue with the poker theme here. How do you drink your coffee?
Black with sugar
Black with sugar, huh? And
ice. Actually.
And what's the most Red Bulls you ever had in one day?
6? Yeah, it's got to be 6.
Damn. If there is one thing now, say you had an unlimited amount of money, even more than you
All
have,
right.
and you could start up anything you want, since you kind of are in that situation almost, what would it be? But it could be anything. Like, say you needed unlimited
Hedge fund.
hedge fund. So you just become like the typical Wall Street guy?
No. I would run the hedge fund my own way. But investments is what I'm driven to. I mean, that's why I was driven to poker.
Yeah.
Investments is just is how I see the world for whatever reason.
That's a great way to look at it. How serious would you take me right now if we were actually having this meeting and I had socks and sandals on instead of regular shoes?
I don't notice things like that, so I'd still take you seriously.
Oh, man.
I don't I'm just not, that's not my way of thinking about the world, if you will. Like, I think more like, usually, people who do weird things, I actually kind of more drawn to them just because like they're doing something out of the norm, out of the
That
ordinary.
explains a lot.
Yeah,
that.
right. That's why I do a bunch of weird shit. Yeah, right. But yeah, no, it's like I see somebody who does something different. I'm actually the one who wants to go talk to them because I'm like, why are you doing that? Is there like an actual reason? And then usually there's actually a reason, and it's usually pretty interesting.
If there's one item that you consume every day, something you'll keep consuming every day, what is it? Maybe you drink it, eat it, or you wear it on you, but you won't go a day without it.
You mean currently? Like what
Yeah.
I do? Oh, Chipotle.
Every single day.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So we're gonna get a Red Bull sponsor and a Chipotle sponsor. That's
Damn
what we're
right.
gonna get for you. That's
Man,
the goal.
I'd save a lot of
That
money
is
if
the
I got
goal.
a Chipotle sponsor.
That's actually
Honestly.
the second time today. I did an interview with your old English teacher earlier.
Yes.
And I asked him specifically what his expert advice of the greatest marketing campaign, or one that really caught his eye. And the first thing he said was Chipotle. So there's a theme going today.
Why did he say that?
He just likes the print and he likes the messaging and the branding of how they
Dude, get us some Chipotle and Red Bulls, damn
Yeah,
it.
what's going on?
Steve, what's happening? Joanna, what's happening?
I thought she
Get
was
us.
bringing it.
We need some now.
That is a great business model, though. Like you're able to pick out your own food, or to kind of feel like you're picking out your own food.
Because now you got that with like Asian food. You got it with
pizza, the Blaze,
Cajun food, the
yeah,
Blaze.
Blaze, LeBron's company or whatever. Yeah, no, I mean that's a great business model too. Like aside from just like the print and how it looks, like just that business model is pretty cool. But
So say
it's
you're
different. So I like it. It's different. That's why I eat there every day. Now I got to eat something different, I guess. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to change it up sooner or later.
Yeah, eventually.
Say you're stranded on an island. What is the one item you want with you? And it can't be a poker chip.
Could be a cell phone.
I mean,
No, that doesn't count. Probably my lucky Cubs hat.
oh, the same one you had.
yeah.
Do you still wear that? How long have you
yeah.
had that Cubs hat?
10 years longer. I can't even tell you. I've had it a long
Do you
time.
wash it, or was part of the strategy is that it stinks? And
You mean during the event? During the event, I actually for 6 of those days I wore the same stuff just because.
yeah?
I
Did
was
you
so,
shower or change clothes?
Yeah,
during
I
that?
showered.
Okay.
Did I change clothes? Debatable.
You wore the
I
same
guess.
thing 9 to 8.
I mean,
days
I would
straight, right?
wash it, but I would wear the same thing. Yeah, and yeah.
Was it part of
Hit
like
the hot spots. At least you hit.
I hit the hot spots for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, yeah, even though like I'm a numbers guy and I only think of like numbers and I'm thinking about spots and I'm thinking rationally, there's still a little bit of that, like, I can't change anything. Just that superstition. If I change something and it all goes wrong, it was because I changed my shirt.
That was why.
I actually changed my shirt on the 9th day. I did. And that was the day I posted. I changed my shirt to like a blue.
Seriously?
I did. Yeah, it was so stupid. I still think about that now. Like, I was like, all right, why am I going to change my shirt? But I just wasn't thinking. Like, it was just so stupid. I wore the same hat, the same hoodie, the same pants, the same shoes, same socks. new shirt for some reason, and then I busted. It was like
Wow.
so stupid.
So
Yeah.
you heard it here on Bossed to Boss. Kevin Maahs busted because he changed shirts on the last day.
So
Yeah.
yeah, the takeaway is don't change your clothes.
Don't change your clothes ever.
No, yeah, that's the key to the success in the World Series main event. Don't change your shit. Yeah.
All right.
Don't change anything.
Yeah, if
All
there's
right.
one thing you can take away from this podcast. Wear the same clothes
Same
every
clothes.
day.
And eat
right.
Chipotle and chug it with
Eat
chug it down with Red Bull.
Chipotle, wear the same clothes every day.
Damn right.
And chug it
Yeah.
down
We're
with Red
really
Bull.
giving a lot of value to the audience.
Damn right. No cheese, no sour cream on that bowl. Yeah, no dairy.
No dairy. That is the way to go. That's the way I'm living. All right, man. Kevin, it's been definitely been a pleasure having you on. Everybody that wants to follow more of your story and just reach out to you, best place is just search Kevin Maahs on Facebook.
Yeah, probably Facebook message, or I mean, I do have a Twitter. It's Maahs at Maahs Kevin.
Maahs
So if they
Kevin.
want to follow me on Twitter, it's cool.
Maahs is Maahs.
Correct. Yeah, double A. I think I got they have some flag for that at the World Series too. Who has double vowel consecutively
Seriously.
in their last
Seriously.
name? What an asshole for having a double vowel. And I'm like, oh yeah,
You were
so-
just all around an asshole.
yeah, just for everything I did, right? Even my last name. But no, it was, yeah. I mean, they can follow me on Twitter. I have an Instagram, the Poker Maahs Star. Again, one of my friends created that for me. If they want to follow me on there, they can. I don't post too much on that, but yeah, I mean, one of them.
We'll see you at the next main event, though, right?
Yeah, I hope I'm back on
next
TV
year.
so I can know everybody else again. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Mike is yours if there's anything else you want to share, but definitely been a pleasure having you on. Kevin, I'm looking forward to see, where you go next and if you get that hedge fund or if we see you
Yeah.
at the final table.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for having me today, guys.
That is all for this episode of Bossed to Boss. Your next step is to visit bossedtoboss.com, where you will find proven techniques followed by professionals to help you make that next step. Again, that is boss2boss.com. And remember, the time is now.